ABC, Caitlin Clark and Iowa. And their last game against West Virginia, Clark became the second player all-time with 350 points on 100 dimes in the tournament, joining only Diana Taurasi. And how about Jalen Sherrod? A little bit of a Swiss Army knife, one of just 3 major conference players currently averaging at least 12.5 points, 4.5 assists and 2 steals per game. But let's take a look at how they got here, brought to you by Adidas. So the Buffs went 2-6 in their last 8 games entering the tournament. 5 of those losses were to AP-ranked teams, and now they've won consecutive games for the first time in 44 days. Colorado won both of their tournament games by double figures, and in the second game, they upset 4-seed Kansas State, got their 5th win against an AP top 15 opponent this season. It is their most such wins in a single season this century. How about Iowa? They took down Holy Cross to the first round and then defeated West Virginia to advance to their 4th Sweet 16 in the last 5 tournaments. Iowa only scored 64 points in their last game. That's their second fewest in a game this season. Clark, of course, has been a huge reason for Iowa's success, scoring or assisting on 58% of the team's points in the tournament. Holly Rowe caught up with Iowa head coach Lisa Bluder.
Coach Bluder, you always gather your team up into this special circle at the end of shoot-around and deliver a message. What was the message for today?
It was just about how much confidence I have in each and every one of them. Every woman on this team is so special. And, yeah, everybody talks about Caitlin, but there are truly a lot of really great women's basketball players in that circle.
You play a team that you faced last year. How much carryover is there from that game, a lot of the same faces that can help you today?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it helps us or hinders us, quite honestly. They're very similar. We're kind of similar. You know, we lost a little bit more to graduation than they did, but, you know, we're familiar with them and we know what happened last year, so I think we can use that moving forward.
Every game could be the final game. How do you not think about that, not get that in your head and just focus on the task at hand?
Yeah, you don't want to think about that, because if you're thinking about that, then that's exactly what happens. So we're focusing on the next play all the time.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
We welcome you to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. In Albany, New York, getting ready for a Sweet 16 matchup between 5-seed Colorado and 1-seed Iowa. Clark Mania is here. The all-time leading scorer in Division I history, Caitlin Clark, trying to get her team back into the Elite Eight, where if they go, they will meet the team that ended their season last year, LSU. LSU taking down UCLA just moments ago here in Albany. That game will be Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN, as we welcome you courtside once again. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you for the second game of 2 here in Albany on ABC. Rebecca, this is also the second time that these two teams, Colorado and Iowa, are meeting in the Sweet 16. We saw it a year ago.
Yeah, and Colorado more than just hung tough in that matchup. Not only did they have the 1-point lead at the half, but they were absolute monsters on the glass. 21 offensive rebounds for Colorado in that game. It ended up being an Iowa 10-point victory, but 4 of the starters for Colorado remember that well as they return to start here today.
And they also remember what it's like to face Caitlin Clark, who, as you all know, has just been historically great over her career, and especially here in her senior season.
Yeah, every time the stakes have been raised, Caitlin Clark has come to play, and she's averaging just about 32 points a game, and we've just never seen a young woman play like this. Her ability to hit the logo 3, to do it efficiently, while also balancing that with an attack at the basket, and she is an elite teammate, an elite passer, leads the nation at just about 9 assists per game. She knows how to lead her team to victory in the Sweet 16.
Well, Caitlin Clark getting ready to go. Talked about feeling the weight of having to win at Iowa City. Wondered if her and her entire team might play more freely here in Albany like they did last year in Seattle following their first 2 rounds at home.
Caitlin Clark.
Well, Caitlin Clark announced to this adoring crowd, similar ovation when they see Holly Rowe as we send to that Hall of Famer right now.
Well, another game, another sold-out arena. For the 36th time this season, the Iowa Hawkeyes have sold out a building. People want to see Caitlin Clark, and she is well aware of the furor, the craze, and the excitement around her play. But she did admit to us on Friday when we spoke to her, I am feeling the pressure to perform. She said, when it gets too much in a game, I turn to my teammates, best friends, Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, to calm me down and make sure that I am centered and focused on them and us. But this is a big crowd for Iowa. 54% of the fans who have bought tickets in this regional are for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They will have a lot of hometown support for Caitlin and her team today.
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups, Holly. They are brought to you by Capital One. You see for Colorado, Jalen Sherrod, Frida Foreman, Maddie Nolan, the new addition to Quay Miller and Aaronette Vonleh. And for Iowa, Caitlin Clark, Gabby Marshall, Sydney Falter, who had the biggest bucket of the second round, Hannah Stolke, and Kate Martin. A meeting with LSU Monday night in the Elite Eight on the line this afternoon for Iowa and Colorado. Away we go. And Colorado wins the tip.
Here we see Iowa starting out in man-to-man, but it's a team that will change up their defenses.
And right away, Vonleh gets fouled by Martin. So Kate Martin picks up an early personal. And if you were surveying and coming up with your greatest concerns if you were Iowa, it would be how you handle the size of Vonleh inside.
And Iowa had some foul trouble when they met Colorado a year ago. Part of it was trying to defend Vonleh inside.
See the coaches for today's action. J.R. Payne seeking Colorado's 4th trip to the Elite Eight. Lisa Bluter seeking Iowa's 6th. Vonleh misses the 2nd, and Martin left alone for the rebound.
See immediately, Jalen Sherrod has the defensive assignment like she did a year ago on Caitlin Clark.
Clark bodies right through Sherrod in an early bucket for Caitlin Clark. One thing that was interesting talking to Colorado and what they might do differently is Vonleh maybe could have had another foul called there. No whistle on Stolke. Oh, nice delivery. Clark to Martin. Marshall connects. Lisa Bluter told us how important it is for Marshall to see one go through early. She does there as Sherrod lays it in. Just to finish that thought, Colorado was very steadfast on, we're not going to do anything differently defensively for Caitlin Clark. We're going to play Colorado defense.
Which is most of the time just straight up man-to-man with help side from your teammates.
Here's a Falter, lost it, but a foul. And the whistle will go against Miller, her first.
Caitlin Clark, 6 feet tall. Jalen Sherrod, 5'7". So Caitlin goes right to the basket, uses her size to get an easy look early. And then just the pass from Martin to Gabby Marshall. Beautifully done.
Here's Martin, deep underneath. Martin lays it in.
It's a huge start for Iowa to be able to get some buckets inside. They struggled so much from 3 in the second round.
Well, they struggled from everywhere. Had their fewest field goals made in a game since 2012, and yet they were able to win that game and advance here. Clark, a 3, short. And rebound, Colorado. Here comes Sherrod. Sherrod cups it, dishes it. Miller unable to hit from 3, and Clark secures the rebound. Iowa had just 17 made field goals in that second round win. They already have 3 today. Clark left alone, lays it in.
And Vonleh with drop coverage on the on-ball screen.
Ooh, Nolan gets out ahead and finishes on the gorgeous down-court feed.
One of Colorado's big concerns coming into this game was transition defense and getting out to the shooters. But how about that, outrunning Iowa the other way?
Here is Clark, again given that right side to drive. Dumps it to Stolke, who's fouled by Vonleh on the floor. And the first foul on Aronette Vonleh.
You just see here, the Vonleh is just playing in the paint, waiting to see what she can do defensively, and Sherrod's gonna really have to fight over the screen if she doesn't have any help from her big.
Here's Clark into Marshall. Thought about taking another. Clark will. Short. Vonleh the rebound. Colorado playing with pace here. Both teams up and down. Sherrod will take. Short on a three.
You saw Caitlin Clark's hands down a little bit defensively. Iowa wants Sherrod taking that shot.
She's just 24% on the season from three. Clark drops it. Stokey finishes. Nice delivery from Caitlin Clark. And that was something else Lisa Bluder talked about. Stokey getting an early bucket being important for her. Vonleh bodies in and finishes. And Stokey taking a moment to get to her feet. An 11-7 lead for Iowa in the early going. Just already a completely different offensive rhythm than what you saw against West Virginia. Stokey has it poked out of bounds. Last hit per Colorado basketball.
An elite passer. Caitlin Clark leads the nation in assists, just looking one way, draws Vonleh and just drops it to Stokey, man. Post players, you dream of playing with a guard like that. Just get your easy looks.
One of 5 players since the 1999-2000 season with at least 300 assists in a season. She has done it in back-to-back years. Here's Sherrod, all Pac-12 this season. Miller will back it up. Miller given a lot of space, unable to hit from three, and Martin flags down the rebound, off and running for Iowa. Martin looking to take it all the way, and Sherrod knocks it off Martin. Out of bounds, Colorado ball, and Kate Martin mystified as to how that wasn't off of Colorado.
Jalen Sherrod, just incredible speed. She's at one end of the floor and just puts the afterburners on. It's where she's so good, pokes the ball from behind. Was that off her leg?
I did. On that angle, it didn't appear so. The Colorado ball. There's Sherrod on the attack. Addison O'Grady there for the initial stop. They swing it here. Little mid-range jumper. Won't go for Sadler, just into the game off the bench. Mia Sadler. Here's Clark. Nice look, and the layup is good for a falter. And Colorado turns it over on the other end. And Stokey getting a little attention after she took that shot. What a pass.
I mean, just incredible, splitting the defense, and she knows how to get it where you're going, never passing the ball where you were.
The range is what draws you in and has drawn in the nation because we've never seen it before in the women's game. But her passing is also just exquisite. And that's a travel on Kate Martin as Sherrod again. A huge factor defensively. That's 3 early turnovers from Iowa. Sherrod, a premier defender, and talked about how she knows, even though she is an introvert, she has learned this season that her team feeds off her energy. So she needs to sometimes bring a little more than she otherwise would. Here's Frida Foreman. A big-time threat from 3. Whitaker dancing through the lane, couldn't finish. Here comes Clark, flings it ahead to a falter, lays it in, plus the foul.
Caitlin Clark is an elite get-ahead passer. on the other side of the mid-court line. A falter, beautiful finish through contact.
The NCAA Women's Championship on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Well, this is Caitlin Clark's last dance in college, and what a final season it has been. January 2nd, hit an incredible game-winning 3 against Michigan State. Then the women's D1 scoring record, passing Kelsey Plum on February 15th. Then passes Lynette Woodard on February 28th with a women's major college basketball scoring record. Caitlin was not done, announcing she'd enter the WNBA draft on February 29th. And the Division I scoring record for men or women, passing Pistol Pete on March 3rd. Caitlin then set the D1 single season record for three-pointers made on March 8th. And on March 25th, set the women's Division I single season scoring record. And she already has 4 assists in this first quarter.
I mean, her eyes are always up, tongue out, assessing the situation, and just, again, the get-ahead pass from the other side of midcourt, leading to this and one opportunity for a falter.
I mentioned it earlier, Rebecca, but worth mentioning again. When we were talking with Caitlin yesterday about the pressure, both she, Gabby Marshall, and Kate Martin talked about feeling it big time in those games in Iowa City, not wanting to lose on their home floor. And they hope they just might play more freely here in Albany, which they felt they did last year once they got to Seattle for the regionals.
Caitlin mentioned it's the most fun time of year to play basketball. She looks like she's having fun so far in this one.
Here is Clark. Clark stops, looking for some help. Finds it in Marshall. Here's Clark around 2 screens. Clark not finding much space. Dumps it underneath the Stolke gets blocked, and 4.6 on the shot clock for Iowa. Aaronette Vonleh back in for Colorado as Kylie Fierbach comes into the game for Iowa. Stolke wasn't quite ready for it. A falter with 3 to shoot. Might have to. Gets it to Stolke. They didn't have time for that. Shot clock violation as Iowa needed a falter to just take that shot. Hey, for the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Yay us that we've been able to have all games on for the last 4 years.
It's so fun.
So fun. Such an exciting time.
Well, you and I are excited to go watch the rest of the games on
That's
ESPN
right.
after this. You have USC Baylor and then Duke UConn. Foreman couldn't finish on the interior. Weta keeps it alive for Colorado. Here's Vonleh. Smith guarded nicely there by a falter. Adler gets stood up by Stolke and fouled. And that will be the first personal on Hannah Stolke.
Iowa has other big bodies, but no other post player who plays like Stolke, who runs the floor like she does, gets easy buckets in transition, can take you off the drive. It's important for her to stay out of foul trouble.
Caitlin Clark telling us she feels Stolke is the best transition big in the country. Vonleh gets inside of Stolke and finishes.
Vonleh is unstoppable when she gets positioned like that around the rim.
Here's Clark with Iowa swiftly up the floor. Clark being hawked by Weta. Clark able to finish.
She's done a nice job navigating when to look for threes and when to dribble penetrate.
That 3 won't go. Rebound a falter. Up ahead to Clark. Clark with space. Look out. Back iron, no, and it tilts out of bounds to Colorado.
Caitlin Clark has done a nice job probing and getting into the paint here, just curling around Weta, getting inside and finishing. And you don't mind her taking that logo bomb after you've just scored a basket and gotten a stop on the other end.
6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists in this opening quarter for Clark, who has scored or assisted on 14 of Iowa's 17. Iowa
in a zone 2-3 right now.
Here's Sherrod back in, being guarded by Marshall. Kendall-Wetta into the corner. That three for Smith. Off the mark. Clark on the rejection, and the next one is a foul. Clark did not put a body on initially that allowed the offensive rebound, and then the second swipe caught a wrist.
Yeah, certainly when you're in a zone, you need to box out, and just a great job at Wetta coming in, getting it. Oh. I thought it was two clean blocks.
Yeah. Maddie Nolan will shoot free throws and misses the first.
Yes, it was Nolan with the outstanding offensive board.
And Nolan hits the second. Caitlin Clark brought up unprompted to us how significant of an addition she thought Maddie Nolan was for this Colorado team. A transfer from Michigan who has tournament experience. Here's Clark around the Stolke screen. Marshall attacks, can't finish. Stolke has it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay here as it last hit Colorado.
Fascinated sometimes when Caitlin Clark comes off a screen and she points because she knows where her teammate should go, even if her teammate hasn't already gone there.
Clark to inbound here. Gets it into Stolke, gets it right back. Clark forcing her way, kicks it out. That three, no good for Feuerbach. And the rebound secured by Sarah Rose Smith for Colorado. Sherrod just drops it out of bounds, and Colorado gives it back. J.R. Payne done such a wonderful job with this Colorado program, now in her 8th year as head coach. They've won 20-plus games in 3 straight seasons. Trying to go to the Elite Eight as a program for the first time since 2002.
Whitaker in now for Von Lay with a fast-paced game. J.R. Payne doing a good job making sure her bigs are fresh.
Colorado in back-to-back Sweet 16s for the first time since 2003. Here's Clark around the screen from Stolke, bounces to her. Stolke can't finish through the contest from Whitaker. Here's Sherrod all the way in, lays it home. Clark had to be careful already with 1 foul. And a nice response here from Colorado after Iowa came out of the gates hot in this game. Clark to the corner, Marshall's three, won't go. Rebound, Smith. Sherrod flips it up and off. Rebound of Fulter for Iowa. Clark looking to take it off the dribble to the corner. Martin connects. Fifth assist of the quarter for Clark. Martin drills the three. She's shot it at 38% this season, 41 last season. Not a 14-second difference game in shot clock. Smith will pull up. Can't get it to go, and a foul here against Colorado.
Caitlin Clark's dribble penetration brings her inside. She could easily take a shot here. She realizes she's drawn the defense, sends it to the grad student, Kate Martin, to hit the open look from the corner. This is an Iowa team that did not make, outside of Caitlin Clark's, made threes in the second round. Not a single player made a three.
And in this first quarter, Marshall, as well as Martin, have each hit a three. Shot clock turned off. 6-point Iowa lead. Clark bounces, needs help, finds Stolke, what a pass! And Stolke lays it in! A delectable dime from Caitlin Clark to finish the first.
Caitlin Clark already with 6 assists here in the first quarter. Sometimes sees what no one else does. Stokey gathers, finishes. Oh,
that last shot
nice
is under review to see if the ball was released before expiration of time.
We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Plays.
The NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One on ABC is brought to you by Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Well, try and decide. Getting ready to start the second quarter in Albany. That basket did count, so Iowa a 22-14 lead over Colorado. And moments ago, Holly Rowe caught up with Buffalo's head coach, J.R. Payne.
Well, Coach, we've talked about your extensive game plan for Caitlin Clark, but right now it's her assisting that's causing problems. How do you do both, scoring, assisting?
Yeah, I mean, that was the hardest thing about her, is that she's one that has the best court vision in America. So we just need to make sure that we can see man and ball because we're playing too high. We're getting back cut. Make sure we're playing bigger in the gap so that maybe we get a touch on a ball.
Erinette, your leading scorer. How does this transition and pace impact her ability to get in this game?
Yeah, she actually loves to transition. Yeah, so if we can get her going in transition along with the rest of us, it's good for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.
Let's take a look at Fueling the Run, brought to you by Wendy's.
Just getting out in transition, the vision of Caitlin Clark. We've been talking about it through the course of her career, in particular the get-ahead passes. Gets people in stride, the bounce pass to Hannah Stokey, just threading the needle through the defense, leading, telling her players where to go. You saw it right there with Stokey. Go! She knows to cut, and then Caitlin delivers. Absolutely spectacular.
Well, Caitlin Clark, her assists in transition this season, 42% of her assists in transition, 46 of them before half court, 17 just as she steps over half court.
Before half court, get ahead.
Yeah.
That's a get ahead.
Yes. Thank you for the breakdown.
Well, no, for people at home, because I said get ahead.
It was a sincere thing.
Okay, you're welcome.
Falter, Clark, Martin, Stokey, and Marshall start the quarter for Iowa. Iowa still awaiting the return of Molly Davis, who had been a key ingredient all season, but a Falter has slid into the starting lineup nicely. Here's Clark. Give you the Colorado lineup in a moment. Here's Martin cutting, extra feed. Stokey misses the layup, battles back for it. Martin cleans it up.
It's interesting, that time I don't know if Colorado was playing a sagging man on the other 4 players. It also looked like it could potentially be a box-and-1 on Caitlin Clark.
Nolan, Sadler, Vonleh, Sherrod on the floor for Colorado, along with Sarah Rose Smith, as Stokey collects the rebound. Here's Clark. Clark around the Stokey screen, being hawked by Sherrod. Sherrod falls, Clark dishes, Stokey finishes, plus the foul, and a chance for 3 for Hannah Stokey.
Caitlin Clark's ability to manipulate the defense and then to read a step ahead so that she can deliver to her teammates is simply next level. Here, gets by, looks, turns. All right, I'm gonna draw one, and then just drop the dime to Hannah Stokey. Spoon feeding.
7 assists already for Clark. Vonleh picks up her second foul.
Oh, that's huge. Vonleh is the advantage offensively for Colorado in this matchup. Her size and strength inside.
And she has grown so much this season. Her confidence continuing to blossom. Still just a junior, the transfer from Arizona heads to the bench. Iowa on a 10-0 run extending back to the end of the first quarter. Here's Foreman, can't get it to drop. Rebound, it's up in the lap of Nolan. Foreman a 3, won't go. Sherrod goes soaring in, what an offensive rebound. Foreman attacks the closeout. Jumper won't go either. Great box out there from Kate Martin to secure it for the Hawkeyes. Here's Clark, a deep 3. No. It's about the only thing Clark hasn't done thus far as Whitaker travels, and Colorado turns it over. Clark now 0 for 4 from 3. She's 3 for 3 from 2 and has 7 assists. Clark enters this game just 3 made threes away from tying Diana Taurasi's all-time NCAA tournament record for most threes. That's in a career. Clark tried to get it into Martin, knocked out of bounds by Nolan.
I thought that might have gone off of Martin's hands.
Falter over to Martin. Nice hands by Weta, coming up with a steal. Weta all the way in. It gets denied by Martin, but the follow is good. McLeod getting minutes here with the foul trouble from Vonleh.
Colorado doing a really nice job getting on the offensive glass. It's an area they dominated when they met Iowa a season ago.
They had 21 offensive rebounds in that Sweet 16 matchup. A number that Lisa Bluter kept bringing up to her team as they prepared for this game. Clark, she got it. First 3 of the day for Caitlin Clark.
Defenses try to dictate where she goes. Caitlin Clark goes where she wants to go.
And the crowd responds.
Iowa in a triangle in 2 right now.
Weta's 3, rims in. Colorado finally gets one to drop. They have been 0 for 7 from 3. Here's Clark coming back for it. Thought about it. Clark guarded by Sherrod. Wants the screen. Clark kicks it back to Stolke. Just knew she'd be there. And Stolke unable to hang on to it. Here's Weta. Kendall Weta gets fouled by Martin. And that's going to be number 2 on Kate Martin.
Caitlin Clark just goes where she wants on the floor. To the right, steps out, hits the 3.
Holly?
There's a reason Caitlin can get to any spot she wants to on the court. She knows how to use her physicality. She told me herself she's got a little bit of a frail build, but over the course of time, she has added weight. She's added about 10 pounds since she came to Iowa, a lot of strength training. But one other thing that I think helps is she grew up playing against boys until she was in 6th grade. They didn't have enough competitive leagues for little girls in West Des Moines, Iowa, where she grew up, and her dad said, we were just trying to find the highest level of competition. And Caitlin said, I played against the boys a lot longer than most people, but those boys to this day still text her and call her. They're super proud of her, but she knows how to use her frame and physicality to her advantage.
We saw her family, her mother, father, 2 brothers in the crowd. Clark gets fouled by Sherrod. And Clark shaking out that right arm a little bit after taking the contact.
She's done a really good job of trying to probe and get touches in the paint. And yeah, Sherrod gets her right on the arm. Sherrod was frustrated with that call, but that's clearly a foul. Good thing she has all that extra muscle, Holly.
Sherrod got to find out up close. Here's a falter bouncing in. O'Grady kicks out. The repost. O'Grady can't flip it in. Gets it back, kicks it out. O'Grady turns and finishes. Nice delivery to O'Grady for 2. And then a whistle underneath against Iowa.
Again, that was a situation where Colorado missed the presence of Vonleh on the floor, defending Addison O'Grady.
And you could tell Feuerbach was just insistent upon trying to find a way to get it to her.
Yeah, like, here, big girl, no, we really want you to try to score.
Right, Vonleh's on the bench. This is your time. Oh, nice inbounds. And that's going to be number 2 on Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark got her 2nd foul in the Sweet 16 in the first half a year ago and spent a fair amount of time in the 2nd quarter on the bench as a result.
And so now Lisa Bluter and Caitlin Clark talking it through. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Elite Eight continues tonight on TBS. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. So, Rebecca, for now, Clark is going to stay on the floor. Martin went to the bench after picking up her second. Marshall will come in for McCabe, who was in just momentarily.
And for the most part, Caitlin Clark has stayed out of foul trouble, but where you have to be careful is like a dribble penetration where she might flick the offhand, something that's minimal, but that can be called a foul.
Like what we saw on that made three.
Yes.
Here's O'Grady. It's taken away by Sherrod. Jalen Sherrod dashing, dishing, Foreman hitting on a three.
Frida Foreman had huge success from three in the first half when they met Iowa last season.
At 18 points in that first half. Clark putting it in off the window. Caitlin Clark in double figures. By the way, that Foreman three set the program record for most threes in a career, men's or women's, for Colorado from Frida Foreman. As Sherrod then answers with a little bunny. Colorado finding a better rhythm offensively here over the last few possessions.
Certainly.
Oh, Gabby Marshall was wide open. Clark did not see her, but will take the layup herself.
I think running down the floor, Gabby was telling her that she was open the last time.
13 points for Clark, 7 assists. The reigning National Player of the Year, who has set the basketball world on fire. There's Sherrod kicking it out. That three is short from Weta, and the rebound, a falter.
Sherrod got the favorable switch. I thought she might try to drive inside on the big.
Feuerbach putting it on the deck, trying to get an angle, could not. It'll stay here. Nice job defensively by Frida Foreman. Iowa a 10-point lead and a big first half thus far from Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark already 13 points, 7 assists on the day, just assessing the situation, finding open teammates, and yeah, scoring when she has a chance as well.
Forward to that, ladies, and now for today's Need to Know, brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. How about Jukins, USC against Baylor coming up, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN, and then Paige Beckers, who's just been ridiculous of late, and UConn taking on a really good Duke team that's had a great start to this tournament.
Freshman Ashlyn Shade is coming off a really solid second-round performance, and then the Ivies, the grad transfers alongside Juju Watkins, have been stellar.
Affolter, great footwork, and Sydney Affolter finishes. She has really done a great job sliding into the starting lineup for Iowa. With Molly Davis down.
Attack Caitlin Clark. She's got 2 fouls. Just take it at her. See if you can pick up a cheap third.
Whitaker, no. There you go. Look out, Caitlin, in the middle of that mess. That three. Off the mark. Maddie Nolan unable to hit. A 12-point Iowa lead. You wonder, too, Rebecca, if this gets to a certain moment with a certain lead at the end of this quarter, if Clark might end up on the bench, as Clark lays it in, and she's lucky she did not get called for an offensive foul there, using the left arm to create space. It would have been number 3. Clark trying to urge on the Iowa supporters behind their bench. That jumper is good for Sadler. How about Iowa? 17 field goals already in this first half. They had 17 total in their second-round win. Stolke to the corner. Affolter attacks the closeout and gets the whistle. Sydney Affolter will go to the line as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Jalen Sherrod getting ready to check back in for Colorado. She is such a difference maker for them, so disruptive. But what I want to share with you is just how smart she is. She has graduated with a bachelor's degree in sociology in 3 years. got a master's degree in organizational leadership in 2023 and is now working on her second master's degree in criminal justice. She has a 3.82 GPA, and you see her intelligence everywhere she is on the court. She's thinking the game, sharing with her teammates. Just one of the most remarkable young ladies we've ever seen in this game. 5'7", one of the smallest on the court, but one of the biggest impacts every time she steps on.
With the demands on a student athlete's time, it is hard enough to graduate in 4 years. For her to get her undergrad in 3 and then go for multiple graduate degrees, impressive.
Incredible, and really enjoy getting a chance to meet with her yesterday as a falter hits both free throws. 14-point Iowa edge. The winner of this game will play LSU Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Clark goes to the bench with those 2 fouls as Foreman rings in a 3, and so we'll see how Iowa handles these minutes with Clark on the bench. They've had Martin on the bench for an extended time with 2 fouls. Here's Stolke muscling inside, gets it back and gets fouled. McLeod whistled for the personal.
Frida Foreman, so capable from hitting from the perimeter here. That's tough when you are retreating and stepping back, quickly gathers and hits the long one.
It was so great talking with Frida yesterday about her roots and coming from Denmark, and talking about her parents staying up late for all of her games and then going to work the next day because they want to watch them live. Talking about the gym she played in Denmark. The most fans she'd ever played in front of was 3,000, and that was a national team game. She said most of her games over there were just youth basketball teams and relatives and friends of people playing, and that was it. Those were the crowds she played in front of, and she has thrived at Colorado.
Parents do what they need to do to watch their children play.
That layup is good. Again, Clark had to be careful with those 2 fouls. Her back in. Oh, what a time. Clark on the money to a falter for 2. That's 8 assists in this first half for Caitlin Clark. Sadler gives it up, gets it back. Here's Sherrod. Foreman, not that time. Rebound, flag down. Trapped in the corner, McLeod throws it away. Thierbach got it to Marshall, who then had it poked from behind by McLeod. Sherrod cross court. Weta shovels. Foreman needing help. 1:15 to go in this first half. Foreman finds Adler. Nice movement here, but a travel. Hey, the Elite 8 round of the NCAA Women's Championship continues Sunday on ABC, 1 Eastern. It's Oregon State against South Carolina from here in Albany, and then out in Portland, 3:30 on ABC. NC State, Texas. All games also available on the ESPN app. We know that LSU will play the winner of this game Monday night in the Elite 8, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Clark bounces, Stolke gets fouled. So you have Sadler, Sherrod, Weta, Foreman, and McLeod, the 5 on the floor for Colorado. As Sherrod will check out and Maddie Nolan in for Colorado. And now Iowa will check out Caitlin Clark with under a minute to go in this second quarter.
Iowa really able to manage well, allowing Caitlin Clark to play even with those 2 fouls.
And Stolke hits a pair. Stolke up to 10 points. And Iowa has matched its largest lead. It's 14. Sadler's jumper won't go. Good work inside. McLeod couldn't finish. And then a foul on Weta, who was battling with Stolke underneath. And Iowa's in the bonus, so Caitlin Clark was going to check in for the offensive possession, but then recognized that Iowa was in the bonus, so free throws here for Stolke, and she scampered right back to the bench.
If I'm Iowa, though, I don't tempt fate, even these last 46 seconds. If it wasn't free throws, I still wouldn't have put her back in.
They've been able to survive with Martin on the bench for most of this second quarter as well with her 2 fouls. Both Martin, Clark, and Marshall talked to us yesterday about pouring into Stolke with positive affirmations, talking about how she needs to be built up after she struggled in that second round against West Virginia with some fundamental things that she usually does so easily. And Stolke's responded here, 11 points in this first half. Sadler off to McLeod. 16-second difference game in shot clock. Sadler can't lay it in. Rebound knocked away from a falter. Nolan's 3 off the mark. Another offensive rebound. Sadler lays that one in. Great activity from Tamia Sadler to win the bucket for Colorado.
11 offensive rebounds now for Colorado.
Shot clock turned off. Feuerbach lost it. Weta has it, and that will do it for the first half. Caitlin Clark puts up 15 points and 8 assists, and Iowa a 13-point lead at the half with a trip to the Elite Eight against LSU on the line, and Holly standing by with Caitlin.
Caitlin, 8 assists in the first half. That's high even for you. How were you getting your teammates so involved early?
I think that's the key to the game. When we have multiple people in double figures, we're really good. I thought our ball screen offense was really good, being able to work that. They're flooding, so being able to hit Hannah on the roll, but I thought we got out in transition. I think our defense needs a little bit be a little better in transition, though.
You and Lisa Bluter have this interesting conversation. You get the 2 fouls. How do you talk your way into staying in that half and then living up to it and not picking up the third?
Yeah, I think it's trust. I think it's just, you know, being her point guard for 4 years, she can trust me with that. And obviously they made some good subs to get me out on defense and not give up fouls. But, you know, Kate's in foul trouble too. So I think it's going to be key down the stretch. You've got to keep your arms out and not foul.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Caitlin Clark with 15 points, 8 assists. Iowa 13-point lead at the half. A date with LSU on the line for Iowa and Colorado. A trip to the Elite Eight up for grabs as we send things over to the studio to the Dove halftime report. Drea Chinay. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Iowa 13-point lead over Colorado as we get ready to begin the third quarter of this Sweet 16 matchup. We welcome you courtside once again. Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Caitlin Clark just incredible in that first half as we take a look at our most reliable player brought to you by Xfinity.
One of the things that makes someone an elite get-ahead passer is how quickly they can get rid of it. The ball was only in her hands for less than a second. Here, reads the defense, sees them up the line, and knows that her teammate can cut back door and leads her beautifully. Finds teammates in stride where they can corral the ball and finish another get-ahead right inside. And then, of course, complementing the passing with scoring, using strength to get to the rim, and then the step back for the 3. It's just been vintage Caitlin Clark so far.
Let's take a look at our game track brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Clark responsible for 67% of the team's scoring in that first half. First time this season that Clark has had 15 points, 8 assists, and no turnovers in a half. But also navigating with 2 fouls. Remember, on the line today is a trip to the Elite Eight to face LSU. LSU used a 14-2 run to close out UCLA after the Bruins had a 3-point lead with 2:46 to go in the fourth quarter. The defending champs will play the winner of this game Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Tomorrow, South Carolina, undefeated South Carolina, will take on Oregon State in the other Elite Eight matchup that happens here in Albany. That game at 1 Eastern on ABC.
Important to note as we see Quay Miller back on the floor. She played very limited minutes in the first half, only 5 because of a couple of fouls. She certainly has a size advantage on Kate Martin inside.
Martin playing with 2 fouls as well. Vonleh back in, was limited to under 8 minutes in that first half with her 2 personals, and Marshall begins the second half with a steal.
Iowa was in a man-to-man. Colorado trying to get it inside.
Clark bounces low. Martin gets denied by Vonleh.
Immediately seeing Vonleh's impact.
Here's Vonleh trying to flag it down, able to save it to Foreman. Colorado 3 for 14 from 3 in that first half. Nolan gives it up. Stolke comes up with a steal. Here is Clark. Clark, oh my goodness, what a pass for the bucket and the foul. Caitlin Clark drops it perfectly in the lap of a Falter, who has a chance for 3. And a Falter going to take a minute to get up after that tumble.
Ryan, not only the perfect placement on the pass, the velocity on it to get it through the defenders. Just, if it's an inch to the left or right, that doesn't make it through.
Her passing today has just been incredible as a Falter gets a nice hand getting up afterwards.
You couple her passing with her scoring. She is the best offensive player in at least the last 3 decades since I've been watching her playing this game.
A 51-35 Iowa lead. A Falter having another big game. She has 12 points, is 5 of 5 from the floor. Here's Nolan's 3. Missed it long. Sherrod, what an effort to get to that rebound for Colorado. Foreman hesitated, in and out. And Clark grabs the board. Martin did a good job on the box out. Here's Clark behind the back. Draws 2, finds Martin. Her 3 is good. Timeout, Colorado.
Manipulating the defense, reading the defense, delivering the offense. Kate Martin says, yeah, I'll take this perfectly placed dime and give you 3.
Now it's time for Get More, brought to you by Geico. Images of the winners this weekend. Oregon State, a big win against Notre Dame yesterday. They go to the Elite 8. So does South Carolina. Huge 3 late in that game from Raven Johnson, and they hold off a torrid comeback from Indiana. And still to come today, how about Juju? Juju Watkins coming off 28, 11, and 5 in the second round. USC Baylor is up next on ESPN. Here in Albany, a 54-35 Iowa lead over Colorado with 8:45 to go in the third quarter. Caitlin Clark, 15 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds. Rebecca, something struck me when we were at shoot-around yesterday for Iowa and seeing Caitlin Clark directing traffic with her teammates in a way where she was trying to help them see what she was thinking with the game. And it reminded me of 2 players we've seen at the pro level and the way they guide and teach their teammates in shoot-around. Sue Bird and Candace Parker. 2 players who at a shoot-around are constantly teaching their teammates and not afraid to interject in a productive way. That's the kind of command Caitlin has.
Know how to use their voice and are willing to do it.
Boy, Miller in the corner knocks down the 3. Nice play out of the timeout from J.R. Payne. Stolke off to Martin. Here's Clark launching way short, and Miller the rebound. Clark just 1 of 6 from 3. Winner of this game meets LSU Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Here's Nolan. Dumping it to Sherrod. Sherrod hops inside, can't finish, and Stolke the rebound.
Really nice movement and ball sharing, though, on that possession for Colorado.
Clark sending away Marshall. Waiting for the screen from Martin. And Stolke gets it back to Stolke. Stolke rummaging inside. Couldn't finish around Vonleh. Here's Sherrod. Dump it down. Vonleh has the size and the skill to finish, plus the foul. No foul. But Vonleh able to finish through the contact of Stolke.
Stolke took one in the gut early in the game, that time to the face, but yeah, it's just incidental contact, post-play, physical post-play.
Here's Clark flashing open, driving it instead, working through Sherrod for the two. And we have seen in this game Caitlin Clark consistently able to get to the rim on her drives. Clark now swipes it away. Here is Clark in transition, always dangerous. Clark working behind Stolke and lays it in. "19 points for Caitlin Clark. She is 7 of 7 in the paint. Vonleh can't finish. Looked like Stolke maybe got away with a foul on Vonleh, and that's what Maddie Nolan is contesting now. As Clark then draws the foul and grabs at her left arm.
Yeah, I think you get the body foul first before the little push off at the end.
You're talking with Iowa, they had such great respect for West Virginia and the defense they played, the amount of talented individual defenders they were able to throw at Caitlin Clark. Clark doesn't take the corner three, will drive it, shovel it, O'Grady, no, and it stays here.
Colorado doesn't play a lot of zone, but here we see a 1-3-1 trapping quarter court zone, and they had a ton of success in this in their loss to Utah, able to come back huge in the fourth quarter by turning Utah over. Interesting to see here how Iowa handles it.
O'Grady was trying to give it back to Clark. It'll stay here. I always love how swiftly you pick up all different zones. It's not just a zone, it's a 1-3-1 trapping zone. Clark finds Martin, can't hit. And Vonleh on the floor to pick up the rebound. Here's Sherrod. Sherrod slices in and gets the whistle. But then Scabby Marshall. That'll be number 1 on Marshall.
That's her first personal. Team's first. Here we go, 2 shots. Here we go, player.
Jalen Sherrod, just one of 3 players in school history with at least 1,000 career points and 600 career assists. This is the first, say for the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Sherrod, it's the second free throw. Oh, Sherrod so quick getting in there and nearly coming up with a steal.
And that's why they can be so deadly in a trapping zone, because Sherrod is so lightning quick and can get there to trap.
Out to Clark. Clark sidestepping 3 won't be taken. Marshall has her pass knocked away. Here comes Foreman. Great lead feed. And Sherrod lays it in. Nice job by Foreman coming up with a steal and then making a great pass across her body to Sherrod. Clark, no. And Vonleh the rebound.
0 for 3, Iowa now against this quarter court zone.
Feels like you're maybe a Colorado bucket away from an Iowa timeout. Sherrod spinning, dishing. Vonleh lays it in. And the lead is 13 for Iowa. Lisa Bluter calling out a play against this zone. Marshall, mid-range, won't go. Miller the board. Here comes Colorado. Sherrod prancing inside, and it's going to be a charge. A charge on Sherrod is taken, negating the bucket. Feuerbach taking the contact, and Decantner explaining to Jalen Sherrod. Let's see. Owning the real estate before Sherrod got there. And a turnover for Colorado. Well, the South Carolina Gamecocks have just been an incredible team in recent years. Last year, 36-1, their only loss to Iowa in the Final Four. Then had 5 players selected in the WNBA draft. And what do? Oh, they just come back and go undefeated this season with a totally new crew. Dawn Staley's team 35-0, the last undefeated champions. You got to go to 2016 and UConn. And South Carolina will play tomorrow, 1 Eastern on ABC against Oregon State. Following that game, it'll be Texas and NC State on ABC out in Portland. Meanwhile, Iowa has watched Colorado find a little bit of a rhythm here over the last few minutes of this third. And Iowa's had some trouble against that Colorado zone.
Yeah, it's a 2-3 extended zone, and they've done an outstanding job trapping out of it here.
Stolke surrounded. Martin looking to redirect, gets it to Clark.
It's really sped Iowa up, though, in their quarter court offense.
Martin hits the mid-range, 11th assist for Clark. Martin, Clark, Affolter, and Stolke all in double-figure scoring. Well, and it's a zone you talked about, Rebecca, being very successful in Colorado's comeback win against Utah earlier this year.
It was a comeback loss, but they still came back and lost by 1. I mean, this is a Colorado team, per synergy, only plays zone 7% of the time, but it is disruptive and it is effective and it helps them come back. 1-3-1 now.
Clark tried to fire it into traffic, and that's the first turnover on the day for Caitlin Clark as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
Lisa Bluter in that last timeout gave her team a bunch of suggestions against this zone that seems to have really disrupted the Iowa offense. She talked to them about ball fakes, getting into the gaps of that zone and driving the basketball more. And then she said there's a lot of space. When they are spread out like that, we've got to run our circle, reverse the ball, and get that zone moving.
Weta probably had a little more time, thank you, Ollie, than she realized there with the shot clock. Remember, this is a very heavy Iowa crowd, so they acted like the shot clock was already expiring. She had about 4 left on it. Martin, there's a tie-up.
So
and the possession arrow belongs to Iowa.
What was interesting, before the media timeout is a 2-3 zone. They come out of the timeout. Iowa has talked about how to attack it. Now they're in the 1-3-1. But it's been disruptive, and even when Iowa's gotten shots off, I felt like they've been a little rushed, and it's helped increase the pace for Colorado and get out in transition and just play a speed that they want to play.
Clark in the corner, connects on a 3. Second 3 of the day for Clark. She has 22 points. And Vonleh fouled on the floor by Stolke. Second foul on Iowa in this third.
Just one way to bust the zone. Give it to Caitlin Clark in the corner. And Quay Miller's right there. Her hand is up, but Caitlin Clark has shown throughout her career, it doesn't matter how closely guarded she is, she can drain from deep.
20-plus points in 46 straight games. Into Miller. Miller unable to finish the first time, does the second. Here's Clark. Has the dribble knocked away. Here comes the trap. Passes out of it. Martin drives it, leaning. Doesn't get the roll. Miller the board, and a whistle against Iowa. And it will go on Stolke. That is her third. Take a look at today's Star Stories, brought to you by Honda. Caitlin Clark, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists. She's a very efficient 10 for 16 from the floor. Meanwhile, Kate Martin, who had to sit a long time in that first half with 2 fouls, still 12 points and 5 boards.
We've seen enough stars today to fit into my Honda Odyssey minivan.
You really know how to make the sponsors happy. Here's Miller, can't finish, rebound. Martin, Clark, eyes up. Here's Clark, wheeling back, will fire, and hit. Clark up to 25 points. That 3 no good. Clark just tied Diana Taurasi for the most 3s in a career in NCAA tournament games. The logo, no. Martin soars in, keeps it alive, and then taken away by Sadler. Sadler having it nipped at, and it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch to Iowa.
Coming down, feeling a little physicality, and again, Miller right in her face, and Caitlin drains it.
How about this, Rebecca? Since 2000, there have been 10 NCAA tournament games, make it 11, of 25 points and 10 assists. And Caitlin Clark has accounted for 5 of them. Oh, what a dime, and a falter lays it in. How about a falter, 15 points on 6 of 6 shooting.
Colorado does not have a player in double figures, and Iowa has 4. And one of the reasons is because Caitlin Clark is just spoon feeding her teammates.
12 assists for Clark, who does not check out, but just gets a little swig of water. And one key for Clark, just 1 turnover in this game.
Yeah, she could get a triple-double here as well. She's got 6 boards on the day.
You mentioned it before. Caitlin, talking with us at length yesterday, said she has felt the weight of the world on her shoulders to perform. But she said these are the most fun games to play in. And that's really what's been her respite away from dealing with the expectations that have come with the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark.
What's interesting is that she's felt the weight and still been able to perform.
Yes. Here's Clark. Got caught in the air and threw it away. And then McCabe comes right back with a steal. You see A.J. Ettinger getting some minutes for the first time today. Clark open in the corner. Feuerbach didn't see her at first. Now Clark finds Ettinger. 5 to shoot. And a 3-second violation against Iowa.
Lisa Bluder told us we might see Ettinger today, and she's a player. She did not play in the second round. She did not play in the Big Ten championship game, but Lisa Bluder said she has a toughness about her, felt like she could use her here in this one.
Clark checks out for the final 21 seconds of this third.
Unless they get the ball back, and she'll come back in.
Right. Colorado can hold for a final shot here. Five seconds left, and it's out of bounds. Stays here with Colorado. 3.5 seconds remaining in this third. Sherrod gets it into Nolan. Her 3, short. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Iowa's lead is 21. Holly chats with Lisa Bluder when we come back. The NCAA Women's Championship on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
I want to be a national champion, and that's our goal. I want to just be free in March. I want to play. I want to have fun.
Well, she certainly has been having fun today in Albany. 25 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, and a 21-point Iowa lead as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. And moments ago, Holly Rowe caught up with Caitlin's head coach, Lisa Bluter.
Coach Bluter, they went to the zone, a couple of different versions of zone. How do you feel like your team adjusted in those moments?
You know, it took us a little bit to adjust, and I don't want us to take hard ones at this point. I want us to work the ball against the zone and get that high percentage shot. But I thought some of our passing to begin this quarter was amazing.
You see Caitlin Clark make these kind of passes all the time. There for moments you're just sitting over there like, what?
It's just amazing. I mean, how she finds people in transition, she's just unbelievable.
How do you close out the fourth quarter with a focused approach?
With possessions, patience on possessions. We want to use the clock to our advantage, box out every opportunity we can.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
All right, Hall, it's now time for our Capital One rewarding performance.
It's rewarding watching unselfish people assist the basketball. Caitlin Clark, eyes always up, just dropping dimes. Beautiful one right there, and then simple, just over the top, finding your teammate right when she can do something with it, and it's been beautiful get-ahead pass after get-ahead pass here today, and that was a tough one. 2 defenders coming at you and still able to find Kate Martin right in her shooting pocket.
Send things back to Holly Rowe.
Well, I talked to Caitlin's dad, Brent, about her elite passing and her vision, and he said it's always been this way. Since she was a little kid, she could just see things happen before they were going to happen. It's the anticipation. When I was covering Joe Burrow at LSU, they would always talk about his elite processing speed, and as you're seeing this passing, it's that she's anticipating but then processing what's about to happen with such speed the defense can't react. Just a skill you can't teach in Caitlin Clark with this passing.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things, Holly, that excites me about her at the next level. In terms of the teammates she is going to be surrounded by.
How about her getting it into the post to Aaliyah Boston? I mean, that combination is going to be incredible. Clark whips it inside, right on cue, gets it back, a logo 3, short. Stolke the rebound.
Nice patience.
And for those who don't know, Indiana, the Indiana Fever have the first pick of the WNBA draft. As Marshall knocks in a 3, and I think it's a safe bet to say we know who they're taking with number 1.
I think so.
Here's Sherrod. Sherrod turns the corner, had a layup, gave it up instead, and Colorado ends up fruitless on the interior.
Yeah, Sherrod did a really good job attacking the zone, but she did have an open look up on the bucket.
Marshall thought about launching and then throws it away. Winner of this game advances to the Elite Eight for a meeting with LSU Monday night as Foreman hits her third 3 of the day. Free to Foreman, who became Colorado's all-time leader in three-pointers made earlier in this game. A falter. Here's Marshall. Giving it back to Clark. Into the corner, Martin, in and out.
But that's the area that's going to be open against this zone, is in one of the deep corners.
And Lisa Bluter's going to take a timeout after the offensive rebound from Stolke. We'll step aside, 8:09 to go in the fourth. Iowa, 21-point edge.
Hey, the last time USC was in this position, Juju Watkins was not born. And she sits just 13 points shy from passing Kelsey Mitchell for the second most points by a freshman in D1 history. If you haven't seen her play, you're about to. And 11 minutes from now, they'll tip with number 5 Baylor, a game you'll see over on ESPN. For now, though, we get it back to RL and Ryan.
All right, Elle, we are looking forward to that one on ESPN. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been completely in control today. Iowa 21-point lead in this Sweet 16 matchup with Colorado, and Clark 60 5 games with 25, 5-5, leading all active players by far. Fair has 16 and is second on the list.
I mean, what other numbers can we use to illustrate
It's amazing
how incredible this young woman's career has been?
13 assists today to go with 25 points, 6 rebounds. Here's Martin bouncing to Stolke. Stolke unable to finish, gets it back. Marshall's 3, you bet.
Gabby Marshall is so important to Iowa's success, in particular in the NCAA tournament and championship games in the Big Ten Conference. It's got to be huge for her confidence to see the ball go in like it has today.
Always asked to guard the best perimeter player, does that relentlessly regardless whether or not shots are going in, but it's such a huge boon to their offense when she is hitting threes. Here's Stolke in the corner. Try to get it into Clark and kicked out of bounds. Edinger will get some minutes here. In for Stolke. Here's Martin in a crowd, gets fouled, and Kate Martin will shoot 2. Weta picks up the personal. Martin kind of shaking out that right arm a little bit afterwards. Martin, Marshall, and Clark know whenever they lose or win a title, that will be it for those 3 in their collegiate careers as we send things over to Holly.
Well, Gabby Marshall has already got some really exciting news. Her goal for her life is to become an occupational therapist. And she has just gotten in as a graduate student to the North Carolina Master's Program for Occupational Therapy. She said she went to an appointment with her little brother Luke when he was a kid and he had some sensory issues. She was so blown away by the care and love that the doctors gave and the help that he received. She vowed that she would grow up and become one day. So Gabby's basketball career will end with this tournament, but her goals are still alive with her future in that Master's Program.
Love that, Holly. You saw her father and brother here at the game. In the corner, Marshall on cue. The lead has swelled to 27. As Iowa has just been on a completely different plane offensively than what we saw in the second round against West Virginia. Marshall has 9 of the last 11 Iowa points. Clark, great feed. Edinger lays it in.
Took him a couple of possessions, but Iowa has certainly figured out how to attack the zone.
Papa Clark applauding the assist. Now 14 for Caitlin Clark.
He goes by Papa Clark now?
Well, usually he goes by Brent, but, you know, every once in a while.
That's his children's book name.
Clark can't lay it in, takes a hard tumble, and it's out of bounds to Iowa.
Gabby Marshall on the day, 4 of 5 from 3, stepping into it confidently. She didn't score in the second round game. Big smile here. Caitlin Clark now knows how important Marshall and her confidence from deep are. And Colorado back in the man now.
The steal, Foreman gets fouled by Feuerbach.
Caitlin Clark has 2 brothers, right?
Yeah.
So we got like Papa Clark and the 3 Bears. 3 Hawks, I suppose.
You know, it's interesting to me, you always have children's novels on your mind.
I know, and my kids aren't even that age anymore. We got a chance to see it. Well, we'd have to add Mama Clark, too.
You are a part of the P.D. Eastman fan club.
Yeah, you 100%.
See the family here. It was actually interesting at the hotel last night. There were fans waiting to take pictures with Caitlin's parents. They, too, now have the celebrity status.
As they should.
Yes. 81-57, Iowa in front. Here's Clark. Giving it up to a falter. Clark, and the falter loses it. Colorado has it. Sherrod racing ahead, gets fouled by Clark on the floor. Third foul on Clark. Hey, coming up, Jada Walker, Baylor, 5:45 tip Eastern time on ESPN. Baylor and USC. What a second-round game against Virginia Tech Jada Walker had.
She went and took that game. She won that game for Baylor against Virginia Tech, and you and I had a chance to see her have an incredible performance when she was still at Kentucky against South Carolina.
And a foul here is going to be on Vonleh after the steal from Feuerbach.
Caitlin got like 4 juggles in that time with her feet.
She was an excellent soccer player before she gave it all up for basketball. Here's Clark around the screen, driving it. Clark finishes. 27 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds for Clark. The 14 assists, the most she has ever had in an NCAA tournament game. Miller's 3. Back iron, no. Marshall flags down the rebound. Here's Clark speeding ahead. Clark behind the back. Shifty, and then is going to back it up with a smile on her face. Eight on the shot clock. A falter, tosses back. Ediger can't finish. And it's out of bounds to Colorado. And that may do it this afternoon for Caitlin Clark. Clark set the tone right away with her exquisite passing, getting Iowa out and running, easy looks for her teammates. And the Hawkeyes never really had to sweat in this one against Colorado.
And probably equally as important as you look ahead to them advancing, it was not a physically grueling game for Iowa, whereas LSU's was.
Nolan drops in the 3. According to Vivid Seats, the average get-in price just under $200 a ticket to this game. Fans so excited to come here and see Caitlin in person, see this Iowa team against Colorado. And Clark delivering as she so often does. And what is on deck? Well, a rematch of the 2023 National Championship game. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, LSU, Iowa. Barring a remarkable Colorado comeback here, you're going to have that matchup 7 Eastern on ESPN on Monday night. Oh, and Clark's going to check back in. And Gabby Marshall will check out.
Do you think Caitlin was just in Lisa Bluder's ear, saying, like, let me back in the game?
Yeah, it's interesting. If I'm Iowa, I might be a little more conservative than that, given the score, the time, and what's ahead. Here's Miller, can't hit. Marshall, you heard, get a nice hand there. Nolan buries the 3. Lead is 20 for Iowa. Perhaps Lisa Bluder thinking she just wants to see a couple more buckets before she feels totally comfortable over there. Clark tried to get it to Martin, knocked out of bounds by Miller.
There's a chance she also wanted to give Gabby Marshall the exit so she could get the ovation that she got from the crowd.
But you could probably do that without having to send Clark back in.
Fair enough.
Here's Clark. Clark lays it in, 29 for Caitlin Clark. She's 13 of 22 from the floor. Clark the flyby, Sherrod a three, around and off. Martin the rebound, up ahead, and Sherrod never stopping. Jalen Sherrod, such a competitor, and her motor took her right into the scorer's table.
So impressed with how hard that young woman has continued to play here in the fourth quarter on the defensive end of the floor. Just continues to fight.
And you could hear even the Iowa fans there applauding the effort from Sherrod. Clark bounces to Martin, cutting through, can't bank it in, tipped out of bounds by Miller. It stays here. And now will they come and get Clark? No, but Martin gets her applause. The layup is good. Jimfi lays it in on another assist from Clark, her 15th today. Here's Clark. Tossing to Feuerbach. There mails it. McCabe's three won't go. If I was Iowa, I would consider taking a foul to get Caitlin out of the game.
Yes.
Nolan in the corner, drops in another three. Maddie Nolan's third three of the day. And now Lisa Bluter is indeed going to have Iowa take a timeout.
Iowa calls timeout for substitution. Indiana Colorado, number 3, Rita Porter. Number 25, Brianna McCloud. Number 4,
And now that will end the day for Caitlin Clark.
And the 31, Sophie Gerber. Indiana, Iowa, 24, Gabby Marshall.
Jalen Sherrod giving a big, long hug to her head coach, J.R. Payne, and the rest of the coaching staff now, as this will do it for her fantastic collegiate career. After so many successful seasons at Colorado. Quay Miller will be finished as well, as Marshall hits the jumper. Maddie Nolan, Tamia Sadler, Charlotte Whitaker, all have had so much success in their collegiate careers and so much to be proud of. Colorado back in the Sweet 16, consecutive seasons for the first time since 2002, 2003. And all of them finish their college careers this afternoon in Albany. Gerber can hit, tilts out of bounds with 35.3 to go in this fourth quarter. The fans starting to file down to try and get autographs post-game. All shifting down behind and near Iowa's bench. About a 5-second difference, game and shot clock, as Jimfi travels. Clark masterful today, 29 points, 15 assists, 6 rebounds, 13 of 22 from the floor. Get your popcorn ready. Iowa LSU, the rematch is happening. The Hawkeyes take down Colorado, 89-68, the final. Iowa advances to the 6th Elite Eight in program history. So much for Colorado to be proud of, and J.R. Payne after another terrific season. And Lisa Bluder's team is moving on to the Elite Eight for a matchup with LSU Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. You see the celebration from Iowa as they are moving on. 89-68 the final here in Albany. And Holly Rowe is standing by with Caitlin Clark.
Well, a date with destiny, a rematch of last year's national championship. But let's start with this game. Your teammates got involved, many people in double figures. How much of a team win was this today?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's why we were so successful. We really moved the ball, whether they're in man, whether they're in zone, whether it was transition. I thought we executed in every single area. But also our defense was really good. Only gave up 68 points, and I thought they scored a lot there in the fourth. So proud of the group.
LSU presents a big challenge, their size and ability to get downhill. What's the biggest factor against that team?
Yeah, they're really good at every single position. We know all about that. Obviously, we played them last year, but you know we're gonna have to find a way to rebound. They rebound the ball really well, but gonna enjoy this one and then turn the page and look at our scout tonight and get ready for that.
You already know what's coming. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, all the talk about that. You guys have actually been pretty supportive of each other back and forth all year. What is that like and how will it be to see each other?
Absolutely. It's so good for women's basketball. And to be honest, I've watched a lot of LSU games, and what they're doing for women's basketball and the way their fans support is tremendous. And it's been fun to watch, and they've had a great season. So I know it's going to be a great game, and both teams are going to be ready to go. And it's just going to be great for our game. And, you know, we couldn't be more excited.
Thanks. Go have some fun.
Thanks, Holly.
Well, Caitlin Clark, terrific today. Iowa advances. Here it is. Iowa, LSU, Monday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. We all have a date. We'll see you there. For our producer, Kerry Callahan, our director, Jimmy Platt, a couple of Hall of Famers, Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. I'm Ryan Rucco. Make sure to join us tomorrow, Sunday, 1 Eastern on ABC for an Elite Eight matchup between Oregon State and undefeated South Carolina. And Monday, we know what's coming.